Here's the bootleg Mafex Venom. Just looking at the front of the packaging, you can see this glaring difference, which is MAF. They only printed MAF and forgot about the EX. So yeah, this is actually a one-off thing because for the other bootleg Mafex, they do print out the Mafex in full. So this is something that is only for this Venom figure. At the back of the box, same thing, MAF. And yeah, pretty much the printing is quite decent. I think in terms of sharpness, the original would definitely be better, but the printing on this box isn't that bad. It's actually quite decent. And at the bottom, it's missing the authenticity sticker. Because for most of the Mafex figures, there is the authenticity sticker. This is the comic Spider-Man. And same goes for the Homecoming Spider-Man that I have. And a few other Mafex that I have all have the sticker. Except for the Amazing Spider-Man, the figure I've kept it somewhere else. It does not have the authenticity sticker. But this is probably because this is back in 2013 and the sticker is probably implemented sometime after that. So to spot the packaging of the bootleg Mafex Venom, very simple, just look at this. Anyways, I don't have the original to compare with, so yeah, let's get the figure out of the box. This is actually back in box and there is a figure stand that comes with this, but I don't know where I put it. And here's the figure in the clamshell. And here is the bootleg figure. Let's get everything out. The figure packs with plenty of accessories. It comes with 6 pairs of hands, 3 heads, a pair of alternate magnetic feet, and 4 pieces of web lines. Here's the pair of feet, and on each of them is a pair of magnets as well. I think this would be too small if you want to try to put this at a Marvel Legends Spidey figure. There are 4 pieces of web lines. This pair is kind of similar. And the other pair is like this, with the webbing kind of twirling around itself. Here's the Eddie Brock head, and the sculpt of this bootleg Eddie Brock head is quite decent. Maybe the only thing that kind of irks me is the paintwork around the neck. Doesn't look so bad, but doesn't look too good either. Here's the other head, and for this Mafex figure, it doesn't have a Venom head with the tongue sticking out. There are 6 pairs of hands. This is the clawed hands. We have a pair of fists. The third one is a gripping hand, and it holds on to the web line. We have another gripping hand, where the fingers are slightly more apart and you can see the sharp fingers, but it is still a gripping hand for the webbing. We have a pair of wall crawling hands and another pair of wall crawling hands but with magnets on it. It's quite simple to just switch out the hands. It's actually kind of a bit loose for this one, and yeah, just swap it around with any of the other hands. Yeah, this one is a bit tighter. Same thing for the feet. To swap out with the magnetic feet, just pull it out and attach the magnetic feet. Yeah, just like that. Pretty straightforward. For the paintwork of the figure, the white patch on the hands are painted quite decently. The lines are quite straight and they all look okay. All of them have good paintwork for the white patch on the hands. But for the spider logo, however, you can see that the white isn't painted that well along the edges. And for the bottom part here especially, there is kind of a paint blotch or paint smudge. You can see that the lines along the spider legs and along the body, actually the whole spider logo, isn't really that great. There's even a paint chip over here. Same goes at the back. The white isn't really painted along the edges of the spider logo sculpt. And look at the top, at the antenna of the spider logo, is it? The white isn't even painted all the way to the edge. Same goes for the front. It isn't really painted that well. So, paintwork wise, from a distance, looks okay. But if you take a closer look, not really that great. The paintwork on the head is quite decent, so is the sculpt. And overall, the figure is actually surprisingly quite solid. Now, for a head swap, it's actually quite troublesome because whenever I pull out the head, the dumbbell peg over here always gets stuck to the head instead of staying on the neck. So I really had to take my pliers and like pull it out. Yeah, there. I have to put it back in. And in goes the other head. And for this head, we need to take off the neck. But the problem with the neck is that it turns out it's really difficult for me to pull out this neck. I don't know whether for the original it is as difficult as this. So what I did was, I folded a piece of tissue and put it around the neck and have to use a plier to pluck it out. There you go. There's no damage on the neck by doing that. There's a paint blotch on the neck, but when I put the head on, it is covered, so it's okay. And here's the figure with the Eddie Brock head. Looks quite decent. What if I use the neck that is all black with the head? Here's the Eddie Brock head on this neck. I think this actually looks better than the half black neck. Here's the magnet version of the hands and the feet, and the magnets really does work just like the original. There. What if I were to let go of the arms? Yep, it does stay in place. So the magnet on the feet is strong enough to make the figure stay on a metallic surface. Actually, just one feet is enough for the figure to stay on a metallic surface. But definitely not one hand. I replaced one foot with a non-magnetic version, and the magnet on the hands are actually strong enough to hold the figure even without the magnetic feet. Let me just position it. There. This foot is not sticking to the wall, and this foot doesn't have the magnet. So the magnet on the Bootleg Mafex Venom works. The articulation of the figure is actually quite good. Like I said earlier, it is actually quite a solid figure. It looks up, down, and the neck also tilts left and right. And of course, it goes all around. Oops, it got loose. There's a shoulder butterfly joint here. The arms goes up this high. Bicep swivel. Double hinge knee joint. The hands can rotate all around. It can go left and right. And also if you rotate it correctly, it can go up and down as well. The mid-torso joint allows it to bend forward a bit and also a bit to the back, and also allows the rotation of the upper torso as well. There's a waist joint as well. Legs can only do this much split. There isn't a thigh swivel for most of the Mafex figures, but they can kind of rotate slightly. Legs move forward this much. Double hinge knee joint, and the ankle goes up and down and left and right. And of course the toe hinge. So the articulation of the figure I think matches the original Mafex Venom. The actual reason I bought this Bootleg Mafex Venom is because I actually thought of doing the Dark Avengers Spider-Man, whereby the Mech Gargoyle Spidey is kind of slightly bulkier in size, but you can see that the black costume Spidey on the Pizza Spidey body mold is already kind of taller than this figure. So I think even though the Mafex is kind of slightly bulkier, it wouldn't really fit into the Dark Avengers theme. Is it possible to do a head swap? Obviously, the neck pack is different, but let me just place the head here and look at that. Spidey with no neck. I'm not sure if you guys have any idea to modify this. Let me put this pack inside. So when it's like this, and I put the head on top, not really much difference. And anyways, the head is simply just sitting on the neck. So this is how the head looks like on the Mafex Venom. The black is actually slightly different in shade, but still looks okay. Here's how he compares to the Retro Spidey and the Pizza Spidey. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work that well. And here's the actual Marvel Legends Venom. I think it's a mission fail for me to put the black costume head on the Mafex Venom body. So anyways, this Bootleg Mafex Venom is quite decent in quality. It is quite solid. It isn't any more fragile than the original version. But the only thing is that the paintwork, of course, like I mentioned earlier, isn't really that great. But I think I've seen bootlegs that have better paintwork than this. And yeah, tell me what you guys think about this figure. Whenever you want to buy a Mafex figure, definitely look at the price point. If it's cheap, I think highly likely it is a bootleg. And don't even forget about this MAF on the packaging to spot the bootleg. Thanks for watching. Do check out my other comparison on original and bootleg Marvel Legends figures over here.